pretty clear that despite the fact that Donald Trump has cratered, Republican, their brand has cratered, the Democratic brand has not recovered, and it's because
what are you talking about? What is the Democratic
trust.
Approval rating? Come on, be honest, brother. Come on, what's the Democratic approval rating and what's Donald Trump's? Come on, man.
You can always tell when the media is lying. They laugh. That's what happened when Scott Jennings broke into laughter on CNN as one of their analysts tried to convince viewers that Trump's approval was collapsing. But the truth is, it's Democrats who are sinking fast. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See, this is the same old playbook. When Democrat numbers crater, the media flips the story. They pretend Republicans are falling apart while quietly ignoring their own free fall. It's denial, plain and simple. Jennings wasn't just laughing at bad polling spin. He was laughing at a system that refuses to face reality. Americans are tired of being gaslit by people who think they can twist numbers into propaganda. But as Jennings showed, the facts tell a completely different story.
There's a reason why Republicans are rigging the rules right now so that they can steal a couple of extra seats going into the 2026 midterms. But that has nothing to do with what Democrats need to do in terms of rebuilding trust with the public. And I think the opportunity is there for them to do that, and the urgency to do that is right now.
Let me just correct one issue. Donald Trump is not cratered. If anybody's cratered, the Democratic Party, 33% in the Wall Street Journal poll. There's another one where they're at 19%. Trump at worst is in the mid-40s. The Republican brand is in a lot stronger position than the Democratic brand. That's number one. Number two, you're absolutely right about the Republicans or the voters who only vote for Trump. I'm not sure they consider themselves to be members of either party. And it is imperative that the Republicans convert them into regular vote time and again. So I would say, honestly, Jessica, this is project number one for the Republican Party for the midterms, is you have to make an argument. If you like Donald Trump and you turned out for Donald Trump, if the Democrats win in November, it's all going to go away. All the progress that you're for is going to stop if Democrats win the election. That's probably the best argument they have. And the only person who can really make it is Trump himself, and I suspect he's going to have his shoulder to the wheel for the midterm.
And Jessica, let me just say, I would love if Donald Trump said, if you like Donald Trump, vote for Republicans next year. Scott, please tell your friends at the NRSC and NRCC to tell them to say that, please.
All right, Scott, Joel.
I'm sure they will, but I gotta ask. Do you admit that the Democrats have at best 33 and probable more like 19% approval rating? Do you admit you've seen the polling, or you didn't see it before you came on?
I saw the polling, and I'd be concerned that Democrats still have a plus 5% chance in ballot choice next year, even with that polling. So I'd be really concerned if I was a Republican.
Jennings cuts right through the noise and lays out what the numbers actually say: political stability. That's a reality the media doesn't want to touch because it destroys their favorite narrative. They've spent years trying to convince people that Trump's support is collapsing, that his voters are vanishing. But that's not what the data shows. Not even close. When you line up the latest approval numbers, Trump's base is holding firm while Democrats are bleeding support. In fact, compared to liberal favorability right now, Trump's numbers look stronger than ever. Jennings exposes the trick they keep using: cherry pick one bad poll, ignore 5 good ones, and hope the audience never notices the broader trend. It's political theater dressed up as analysis. So, when he stacks Trump's approval against the Democrats' most celebrated leaders, the contrast says it all: stability versus decline, confidence versus denial.
Scott, we had a Democratic congresswoman on in the last hour who said something similar, in that this is all about distraction because there are these unpopular legislation and other things. What do you say to that?
Well, he's more popular at this point in his second term than Barack Obama was in his, and he's more popular today than Joe Biden was in his. And so I disagree. I don't think Donald Trump's all that unpopular by historical standards, recent historical standards. And at the same time, I don't agree that his agenda is unpopular. I think the big, beautiful bill is going to help people all over the country, and it invested in ICE agents so that we can continue to crack down on the immigration problem. I think Democrats here are squealing because a Republican president is showing up in blue cities, places that have been run for decades by Democrats, that are overrun with violent crime and overrun with illegal immigration, and they've done nothing about it. And even worse, they have encouraged it with soft-on-crime local policies. And so the real issue here is political. It's just that Democrats are being exposed as being crappy at running big cities, and Donald Trump is showing up to show the people there, hey, it doesn't have to be this way. And oh, by the way, if we bring down the rates of violence and the rates of illegal immigration, that'll be a great thing to go along with it.
This part is absolutely brutal for Democrats because it flips their favorite talking point straight on its head. For years, they've told anyone who would listen that Trump is historically unpopular, that his support is fading, and that his movement is on its last breath. But Scott Jennings just blew that entire narrative apart. The data doesn't lie, and it shows something the media can't bring itself to admit. When you actually stack the numbers side by side, Trump is polling higher today than Barack Obama or Joe Biden were at this same point in their presidencies. Yet, when it's Trump, the press calls it a crisis. When it's a Democrat, it's suddenly just a rough patch. That's not balanced reporting. That's spin disguised as news. Jennings's point hits harder because it exposes how the media changes definitions depending on who's winning. Trump has survived years of political warfare, investigations, and nonstop attacks, yet his support hasn't fractured. It's solidifying. Independents, blue-collar workers, even frustrated Democrats are quietly moving toward him. And now, even CNN's Harry Enton is forced to say it out loud. The cracks are showing, and Trump is gaining ground with voters the left thought they owned. So what do you think? Has the media finally lost control of its own narrative? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, this is World Insight Hub, where facts speak louder than spin. Thanks for tuning in.